Alrighty, guys, welcome to Lauro Sports. Cut the music. Oh, man, it is good to be back here in the studio. I'm your host, Mike Lauro. I'm here with three of my extinguished colleagues as we present BodySlams for breakfast. I'm here with the one and only, we call him Korpse.
Marty Emmerich.
Marty Emmerich. We have Dave Chio Frost in the building. And, of course, the guy sitting across from me, the one and only Dennis Reaper. Guys, welcome.
Thank you for having me again, guys.
So let's see. We've been you guys were supposed to do some homework. I'm filling in for the Gobbler because he's out making breakfast runs. He's probably had about 3 breakfasts so far this morning.
I hope it brings some for me. I'm hungry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm so familiar not calling you Mike. We all the last time I was here, we were all going pretty much by the gimmick name. So across from me is sitting the man known as Slayer. Yes,
Slayer. Yes.
So.
Pat makes sure to bring that up all the time when we're doing the sports. When I'm doing the sports roundtable, he calls me the Slayer, and I'm like, I'm like now. But guys, listen, man. We've been touching on the world of professional wrestling, which we all have various experience. The funny thing is, all of us at one point in time, I can remember probably all of us all being in the locker room together at certain different points in our career. So always had a good time with you fellas.
Yep.
But give me some of your thoughts, and Marty, I'm going to start with you first on the current state of wrestling. And I don't mean like let's get away from the 2 majors because I do consider AEW a major.
They definitely are a major company.
Okay, a lot of people don't like they think it's WWE and everybody else. No, AEW's a player.
Yes.
So, Marty, I'm going to go to you first. With them 2 aside, with us being around the local indie scene, give us some of your thoughts of what you're seeing, what you like, what you don't like.
I see a lot of potential. A lot of the newer guys have a lot of potential. I just don't like the training style nowadays. And we were just talking about this outside. They're not learning psychology. They're learning how to do a billion spots and take finisher after finisher after finisher. There's only so many times you can get dumped on your head before just take the 3, man. But I'm seeing Death Valley drivers into a Canadian destroyer with a shooting star. Oh, wait. Corkscrew. No, nobody wants to see it anymore. They really don't. But with the agility of these kids, and if they were trained right, amazing. I can see a lot of really good talent coming out. But as of right now, with they just got to get away with everybody wants to be, that guy, and you got to start from the beginning and build your way up,
Yeah, that's the whole problem. I like one of the things. And Dave, I'm going to get to you next. What I'm seeing is that nobody wants to start off being that guy that has to do the job. Like they're getting done training them right away. They want to come out and be the main event.
Yeah.
Like in our time of coming up, like you got your ass kicked for the first year.
Look, I was either pre-show or I was match 1. Yeah. And I was totally okay with that.
Yeah. Like, listen, I don't know about you, but as we got older, I'm like, dude, I'll open. It's just so I can get paid and get out. You know what I mean? So me personally, I never care where I was on the card as long as you were on the card. But yeah, Marty's got a point to this. I mean, a lot of these kids now that you're seeing, just being in different locker rooms at times is you'll see some of the culture is right with some of these kids, but it's kind of like half-assed. It's not done all the way. Like they'll either have locker room, like they'll have the etiquette, and then when you go watch them and you watch their presentation is lacking. Like in other words, the psychology is not matching what they're doing. So, Dave, see what you have to say.
I guess I have to lean towards of character-wise. Everybody out there looks the same. They're all doing the same. Everyone wants to be high flyers. This, that. They all fast-paced matches. This and that. No one's telling a story during their matches. No one's bringing gimmicks for the kids because originally, when you're attracting your fans, you have to start young. So where's the gimmicks? Like of course, people say I should be out far away from the old school type setting because the business is changing. But yeah, but what about the little kids you don't want to give them that blood and gore and whether it's death match. You want to give them something fun that they can go back to elementary school, tell their other friends about. Oh yeah, there was a clown, a trash man, just the gimmicks in general attract, just like Sunday morning cartoons. I'm like, you wasn't maybe back in the day. We wasn't really into anime because back then anime wasn't that big when we were kids growing up. We had that Saturday morning cartoon. So you're watching the Flintstones and this and that as a little kid, you know? So that's what you want to do. You want to attract the little kids. And this is directed towards like, I want to say the promoters, because promoters are just as at fault as well as the trainers, because for not teaching them, look, that's your fan base right there. As they get older, their taste in wrestling is going to change eventually. But here's where you start out. You get the kids, you get the parents, and then it just grows from there. So, like, I'm a gimmick guy, and there's not a lot of gimmicks out there. You got guys out there wearing kick pads who don't even throw kicks. Why? And I ask them that. Do you throw kicks? No. I'm like, then why are you wearing kick pads? Well, it's cheap, and dude,
it looks cool.
Just because you can do moves. I had this conversation last weekend with two guys. Look, and I put them into the right direction of gear makers, people who design. Invest in yourself, invest in your, because people are going to look at the quality. Yes, you might have these awesome matches, but you look like crap though. Like you're like you just said, their presentation, their promo skills. They're not working on the promo skills. Their entrance to the ring or whatever. And then when you said about the jobbers too. That's another thing that really
it's went by the wayside.
Because and I tell everyone that I said, if I start running again, I said one of the things I want to do, I want to reach out to some of the schools and ask the teachers, hey, I want to bring some of your students in, but I want jobbers, squash guys. They're not getting no offense, whatever. They're out there to make someone else look better. And I hate to say this, but you know. It sounds like we're breaking kayfabe here, but Vince and everybody else in the business, and I'm not going to point it to one particular group, but they broke kayfabe a long time ago, and it's so hard for guys like us or anyone new to try to take it back because it's so saturated now where everyone knows the business. Everyone's a smart mark.
Yeah. So, well, like if you rent a building now, you know, if the building holds 1,000 people, you got 700 smart marks who think they can put a card better together than you. I actually run my own company, which is Powerhouse Wrestling Alliance. And we do almost the same thing. We actually went back. And the reason why I went back is it's very simple. It worked for the first 100 years. Yep. Yes, is our business changing? But you know what? Take a look at some of the more successful things that are getting out there. They're keeping it simple. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I don't mind having like job guys come in to work for us.
See, with everything going on nowadays with all the other promotions and stuff like that, guys like us, they say you need to be different. Okay, well, everyone's doing the same thing. So where's the difference? The difference thing for guys like us is we're going to bring that old school vibe
back.
Yes,
because
exactly.
You know what? If you take
different.
Look at the trend. All right, with wrestling, it hits a peak and then it goes down, only to peak up again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like when we were fortunate, we caught the second peak in the 90s, in the late 90s. Me and Dave were breaking off, and we were early in our careers in that. You know, you guys got to ride the end of that wave coming into the 2000s. You know what I mean? And it's been on a steady decline since our business. But hold on, before we do that, I'm going to get Dennis's thoughts on.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to be taken as a shoot. We all know it. I don't know how, it's word vomit, I'll say. The reason the business isn't the shit that it is, and you touched on it, it's trainers, it's promoters. They want to book their friends that look cool because they could do flashy moves. And then you got training facilities that are going, hey, hand me $1,500. I'm going to teach you how to wrestle. And that's the problem. It's not about wrestling anymore. No one wants to learn how to do a character. No one wants to learn how to cut promos. No one wants to learn how to work cameras. You know who teaches these people? The Dungeon teaches that. Monster Factory teaches that. Cheeseburger School in Bristol, PA teaches that. Rob Noxious School teaches that. That's four schools within 100 miles that I know of that teaches real wrestling. They teach you how to do that. If you want to learn how to work on your character, you go to your trainer, you ask them. That's the thing. No one wants to ask anybody. They just want to go in the ring and learn how to do fancy moves. And that's the shit. And then the worst part is you have workers, right? This is what pisses me off. And if you're a kid on this, watching this, I'm sorry, parents, block their ears. This is going to be vulgar maybe. But the problem with the business is you have workers on the internet shitting on WWE. Oh, WWE is trash. I'll watch AEW. Or AEW is trash. I can't watch that. I'll watch WWE.
Oh my
Impact's
God.
trash. ROH is trash. This is the problem. Shut up. If you're in the business, if you are a professional wrestler, you pay to be trained, you pay to get in the ring, shut up. This is why you have to shut up. I'm bringing this up because, like we were discussing outside, Kate Cutler, the Flying Hawaiian, brought it up that, he was on a podcast. He said some things that was just very worried about something. And they've reached out to him saying, hey, listen, if you don't think these major companies look at what you post and say on anything, you're out of your damn mind nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
This is a social media world now. So anything you put up, your employers, if your employer can access it, yeah.
That's the thing. Like people, the people in the business don't care what they say on the internet. Selena Vega, she's not there at WWE anymore because the biggest draw was her OnlyFans page for cosplay. Pictures in costumes, fired. And then you have workers posting that they have OnlyFans pages. So you just had dark matches and stuff last year when they had fans for WWE and you just blew it away because you want to have an OnlyFans page. I get it, we're in a hard time. But it doesn't matter. Vince won't bring you back because of it. I don't know
that. Well, to me, that's a double standard because, you'll have a chick go out on brown panties, but they can't go on brown panties on their own page and make money.
But this is the thing. It's a PG. Vince and them is a PG thing.
BS.
No, I
that's the thing.
I agree with Mike. It's BS because
I agree with you.
It's a double standard.
It is a double standard, but at the same time, it's one of those events. If you want to work for that company, right, and they say this is the rules we're doing, you know what I mean?
Then you have to
abide by them. So, but if you're on the indies, right, and you just had those agreements to work for them for X amount of days, and you're still on their radar, and you go and post that I'm going to have an OnlyFans page to do XXX stuff.
Well, then that's their fault.
That's what I'm saying. You can't post. You can't do that if you want to work for these companies.
Because listen, I've seen, and I'm not going to lie, through certain Facebook, there's a lot of indie talent, especially female workers, that have OnlyFans pages.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they promote it. They promote it like to the heavens. And the thing about it is, we all know sex sells, especially with the female workers in our business, which, by the way, I gotta say, man, they go through the most shit of anybody.
Yeah, and
they do.
For anybody listening, I'm not knocking at you making $1. Hey, do what you got to do to pay your bills because COVID's here and it sucks. A lot of people were out of work. That's what you got to do. You got to do it. I'm going to support you no matter what. But in the business standpoint, if I want to work for WWE, AEW, ROH, Impact, it's a PR thing. It's a business standpoint. I own my own promotion just like you do. I own 2 businesses. I'm not going to bring you on board if there's a bad image on there because it's going to look bad on me. Oh, I got to look in the positive direction.
I'm a little eccentric from you because I feel with our business, any word is a word. Granted, because we all know in our business, people will shit on you just because they don't like you. And I'm again, sorry for the language, but we're trying to keep it as basically as real as we can. I mean, we're 4 guys between all of us, got over half a century in the business. So when you're sitting down, we already know somebody will start some shit in this business just because they don't like you. It has nothing to do with what you're trying to do. No. Trust me. We've gotten with my league now. We used to be top rope. I literally had to change it because, people are, they're a joke. They're this, they're that. But I'm pretty sure if I called some of these dudes and been like, yo, look, listen, I'm running a show. I'd like to have you on as the main event. With your booking fee, they're not going to turn down my booking fee. They're not going to think I'm a joke then.
No,
right? When they're taking your money, but they're the same clowns that are talking shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing that drives me nuts. I love wrestling. I don't care what it is, indie wrestling, pro wrestling. It does not matter. I love professional wrestling. I remember posting a couple years ago. I was so excited watching Impact pay-per-view. It was, I think, Final something. But I used to live in Orlando. I worked at Universal. I was there for 90% of the original TNA stuff at Universal Studios, watching it in person. I fell in love with the brand. I fell in love with the promotion. There's guys that hate it. Why? Why? Because they're not on WWE? They're not on AEW? Who cares?
But I'm going to get back to your original point that you first broke off, which was guys that are in our business that paid and have been trained. If you have an opinion about it, that's one thing. If you're trying to maybe do an insider's view, like, oh man, a couple of those spots were rough.
Yeah,
I could see
that's
that.
fine.
But to act like a fanboy and be like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't give AJ Styles the title, or I can't believe that Darby Allin, let that dude bump him all around the ring. Then to me, yeah, you're just what we call a rent payer because you're not getting the concept of our business.
I'll put it like this: pro wrestling is like everybody being a football fan. Okay, like we all know there's another show after this that's going to talk about the Philly sports. Everybody's talking about what the Eagles just did. Okay, all these trades. Anybody that's a real sports fan understands why that was a good decision. Okay. Right. Pro wrestling is in the same way. They're not doing it for the fans. They're doing it because they know what's going to make them the most money in the long run on the direction they're going. Right. Whether we like it or not, Vince isn't stupid. Tony Khan isn't dumb. Those guys are going to put what they believe is the way to make them money and get views. And if you don't like it, oh, well, like they're going to keep doing it whether we want to see it or not.
Right. Exactly. All right. Now, what I wanted to add to this show is, I want to each individual, you guys, I'll go last on this one. I'm going to start with you first, Marty. During your time in the business, oh, dude, you're right next to me, brother. So you're going to be going next.
It's like, I don't want to go first.
But, all right, no, wait, no, we can kick it back over to you.
All right, I guess I'll go first.
You go first. I'll
be the curtain jerk.
There you go. Who has most inspired you in your profession? Like, who do you look back now on and go, even though like maybe you may have had a falling out, maybe you may still talk to this person, who have you looked at and just said, damn, you know what, man, like this dude, I may not have known it at the time, but he was really trying to look out. Who was that person for you? Or maybe they felt like they were trying to give you advice, but you thought you knew better at the time. And then you look back on it.
I'm going to go right back to my trainers, to be honest, the Mess brothers. Like, and there's a reason why I say this. When I tore my meniscus in 2010, which sucked, I had it scoped, I had it fixed. I was cleared like not even 4 weeks later. After surgery, the doctor said I was good to go. No physical therapy was needed, which blew my mind that I'm an athlete and I don't need physical therapy. They wouldn't let me train, and I took it personal. I didn't take it professionally. It was them looking after me because I was injured. I had my knee ripped open. And, we had our falling out, and I had to man up and realize what the hell was I doing? I'm acting like a little child here. So I went to them all myself and apologized for acting like a little part of my friendship, little bitch, If it wasn't for them, there would be no Dennis Reaper. I'll say this, Captain Rick Adams is the one that introduced me to them. That's who introduced me. And I love Captain Rick. I love Mark and Troy Mess. They're my trainers. They will always be my trainers. No matter what path we take, no matter what direction I'm going in, I'm always going to give them the credit because there is no Dennis Reaper without that school. There is no Dennis Reaper without them. So now 12 years in, like I've learned the right way to have a match, the right way to promote a show, the right way to run a show because of old school the old school mentality. Like this is how it needs to be done. This is why it needs to be done that way. Because it's been doing that way for well over 50 years. Right. Yes, the new school wrestling is taking over, but this old school way is still going to win no matter what.
All right, Dave.
I'm going to go with someone that we know quite familiar, and that's Mr. Flex Wheeler himself. My eyes were open, like picking the brains of everyone, learning whatever I can, but he was the one that was mainly trying to instill in me of not just the physical part of working out in the gym and stuff like that, which I regret not listening to him with, the eat healthy and do this. And I probably would still be active right now because I have a lot of physical pain and injuries right now. So I'm saying like, if I would have listened to him back then, about that part, I think I would still be going. But as far as he was more like a father figure, big brother, he took a lot of us under his wing, and one thing, being young, you're arrogant, you think you know it all, this and that, and him in general, when a lot of times I talk to him and stuff, is like a lot of times the stuff he explained to me is just like just be a good person, how to be a good person towards people and stuff like that. I'm like, even though it's hard when the people on the other end is acting like total assholes towards you and stuff like that, how can you be a bigger person to that and give them a chance and that and I thank him so much, because now as time goes on and it starts recycling in my head of like, and nowadays I try to help everybody, and Dennis can tell you, because we work a lot on a lot of shows together where I'm constantly always trying to help the promotions or the talent or this and that, or just in general. Like there's kids who was coming up where I became real good friends with, where besides talking about wrestling, when we're online, if I'm texting them or whatever, we're not talking about it at all. We're talking about their education, if they're still in college, whatever. I'm focused on what they're doing with their life to fall back on in case wrestling doesn't work. Well, apparently 2 of the guys are really successful right now, just tearing it up what they're doing. You got Dylan Frymore, who works at Sunny Days and works with DDP, and he works
one
with
of the main
guys,
video editors for AEW.
Yeah. With him, he used to come over to my house playing video games as a young kid. I was schooling him, telling him like, yo, I was on his shit with his mother, but like about, yo, finish school, get your education, college, this, that. Another guy who I constantly talk to, which he's very successful right now himself, is Tony Deppen. Like,
yeah.
This kid, everybody thought he was arrogant, this and that. And when I seen him, I said, there's something different about this kid. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drop the strap to him. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, he deserves it. And I was right. And then after that, me and him just our friendship snowballed, where he was going to Kutztown University for something. I can't remember what it was. And like I said, the whole thing, our conversation was life in general. How's his school going? This and that. Now he has the baby and everything like that. And he said, oh, this was one of my biggest achievements in the business. I said, no. I told him, your biggest achievement is being a dad.
Yep.
Right there. So, and like I'm glad to see that, some of the stuff that Flex taught me about being a good person and giving back is what I'm doing. I'm giving back. I'm paying forward to the next generation of guys, and I'm hoping they do the same with guys after them too as well. So, Flex, if you're listening, thank you very much. I love you, bro.
Marty,
I got like a 2-parter actually. And you guys know both of them actually. My original trainer, guy taught me almost everything I know, was Trent Essen, Mike Verdi, and Charles Gemini. And I'll go with Verdi first. I'll show you my age real quick. I'm gonna take this back all the way to Animal House down in your neck of the woods. 2005. And I walked into this place and I met Trent for the first time. I've seen him at CZW for years. And I was like a blood mark at the time. Still am. And so I go there. Trent's teaching me how to do a backflip for the first time. Granted, I'm 17-year-old kid from North Philly, 300 pounds. Trent's like, get up there and do the backflip. Get up there and do the backflip. We got this big 8x8 crash pad. It was amazing. And finally got over and did it. That's just going to tie it to the next story with Charles. So I ended up leaving PWU for some bullshit with trying to drugs and money and all that other fun stuff. It was the downfall of that company. So go over to ACPW, just about a year later, and I met Charles. I was doing backflips by myself because nobody showed up at the gym, doing moonsaults. And I hear somebody in the background, do that again, motherfucker. Charles talks. And I do it again. And he was like, I see something in you. It was like, nobody does that now. I was like, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 18. He's like, I want to take you under my wing. From there on, that my whole career changed. He got me bookings. He got me with a setup with ACPW. They pushed the shit out of me for almost 5 years. And I give them guys all the credit in the world. Love you, Charles. Rest in peace, Trent.
Yeah, me, it's kind of hard to talk about Mike sometimes.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because I knew Mike since he was 14.
Like I remember meeting Mike when I first started as security because of Phil Stamper at PWU. Okay, like that's me being
Arena.
old. Okay,
Yeah.
I was young, and I got introduced to Phil. That's how I got to be at PWU, and I got to meet all them. And I remember the first time meeting Trent. It was one of those. I was at ringside, and I got cocky with a fan because they started to shove the rail. And Trent's like, next time that does it, just punch them in their face. They'll love it. I'm like, what? Punch a fan in the face? And then that's something I'll never forget because of the fact he was being serious. I took it as he was joking. And then Luke and all them were like, no, he's being serious. Just punch the fan. Dear Lord.
Dude, I got a quick little Trent story for you. We were training at Hawkins, where everybody talks shit on, but everybody was there most of the time, especially if you were in the Philly area. So we were there one night, and me and Mike were working, and I grabbed him too quick in a headlock, and I was like side headlock takedown, and he didn't hear me, so I just went, and Mike put his arm out. Unfortunately, he ended up breaking his wrist, and I felt so bad about it, right? And I'll never forget it. He was doing something with he was just starting his Trent Acid, but he was doing something with Twiggy Ramirez and back in the old NWA days. And Twiggy was heated. Like Twiggy came like a couple days later or whatever. And he was heated at me because he thought I tried to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So he didn't know that me and Mike had a history prior to that. Like I said, I've known Mike since he was 14. We used to play on a street hockey team, believe it or not, in South Philly. That kid at the age of 14, just getting off subject for 1 second, that kid at the age of 14 had about an 80-mile-an-hour slap shot and was just nasty. Because trust me, I used to be the guy that would screen the goaltender. So a lot of his shots would ricochet off of me, and they hurt. But it just goes to show you what kind of person he was. He was, he was very he excelled at a lot of stuff, man. He was really good at, not just wrestling.
He was an all-around athlete.
All-around athlete, and he could play music. He was a hell of a drummer, But getting back to it, Twiggy kind of got a little heated at me, wanted to, he thought I did it on purpose. And I remember Mike looking at him, he was like, dude, he goes, of all the people in this gym who would try to hurt me, he goes, he would be the least. And I remember the dumbfounded look on Twiggy's face. He's like, but he said, dude, he goes, it was an accident. And then it finally took him to say it was an accident. Like I said, I was young in the business then. I was only in the business probably about a year and a half. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, great. And I just remember it was really funny because New Jack was actually at the gym when it happened. And Jack turned around to me. He goes, you're not scared, are you? I said, no. Because Twiggy was getting kind of heated. I was like, oh, no. I was like, we step out them doors. I was like, it's on. I was like, I'm from, that street. That street out there. I said, that's me. I was like, he wants a knuckle. We can knuckle. And Jack was like, he goes, boy, he said, you would tear him up. He goes, he's doing that for show. He goes, I can tell already just by your mannerisms. He's like, you'd eat him alive. I was like, well, so finally, I think Twiggy kept going on with it. And New Jack finally turned around and was like, boy, look, either step outside and fist fight him or shut up.
Yeah.
He goes, because I'm pretty sure, and it was really funny because everybody that was kind of with him, kind of backing him, and there was a few people, and Jack just said it again. He goes, I'm going to say it again. Either step outside and fist fight this dude because you feel some type of way. He goes, or shut up. And Twiggy's like, I remember he goes, no, let's go in the ring and shoot. And he was like, yo, boy, he said, no, boy, the ultimate shoot is a street fight. He was like, he goes, there's a big field right across the street. He goes, why are you going to waste this people's time and ring? He said, y'all got a big field across the street. He goes, I'm pretty sure he goes see you. I didn't say a word. I was just standing there. And Jack was like, I remember he looked at me. He goes, if he wants to go outside, he goes, you want to go? I said, I'll go first. And I walked out the door. And that was it. And I stood outside. Jack goes, I guess he ain't coming out. I said, okay. And we just left it at that. But it took Mike to really speak up and say something. But it was getting back to what we were saying. I got to agree with you on Flex Wheeler. And I'm going to give you my Flex story. We were with GWA at the time.
GWA.
Good old Grand Wrestling Alliance.
Got to work there once.
Yes, and that was Flex. Izzy Aviles. We were sitting back and good old Hunk Heiser. Me and Hunk were hanging out, and he said, "Hey man," he goes, "I'm about to go over Flex's." I said, "What are you going over bothering him for?" Because Flex lived right around the corner from Hawkins. He goes, "I'm about to go around Flex's." I said, "What are you bothering him for?" He goes, "No, dude." He goes, "He's about to write out the show." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why don't you come around with me?" So I went around with him, and it was funny as hell because like I looked at Flex. Flex was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And you know, me and Flex at that time we had a rapport, but it was just from the gym. So. And I turned around and said, "Hey, man," I said, "How do you put this together?" And he goes, "Are you interested in learning?" I said, "Hell yeah." So literally for that, the whole time the rest of the time we were in GWA. And then when PWA started, me and Hunk were over his house every Wednesday night. And he was showing us how to put stuff together. And he would tell you, like, that's how I got to learn a lot of the backstage stuff through this business. And it was funny because when I started with Top Rope, being a booker for Top Rope, he was watching me and he turned right around. I remember T was actually staying with me, Flex was actually staying with me for the summer. And he just looked at me and he's watching me put everything together. And I'm like, he could see me like struggling a little bit. He goes, "What are you thinking about?" I said, where can I end this? And then he's sitting there looking. He was like, "Damn," he's like, "I taught you well," you know? But, you know, I'm glad we were able to get all that stuff out. But now it's time to move on to the meat and potatoes of our show, which is Fastlane. Reviewing Fastlane. And Dave, you got the big old notebook out in front of you, so I'm going to go to you first.
Oh, great. So, well, it was a very interesting pay-per-view. It has its highs and lows, but mainly there was so many highs that I was actually all for this particular pay-per-view. It surprised me. I thought there was going to be more lows than anything for being one of those mediocre pay-per-views, I want to say, because for me growing up, the four majors were Mania, SummerSlam, Rumble, and the Survivor Series. So first of all, they kicked off with their kickoff show with Riddle against Mustafa Ali. One thing I like about Ali is that he came to play. He shows what he can do out there. Which, don't get me wrong, the kid does not slack on anything. I think they can push him really, really well. But I think the whole thing with the whole what's the name of the group again?
Retribution.
Retribution. Yeah, why they gotta come out with these big words? But yeah, I think they could have did something different with the group and different with him. They should not have put him in. I think he could have survived on his own.
Yim's with that group, ain't she?
Huh?
Retribution, ain't she with that group?
No, actually
she is, but I think she was hurt. I think that's why she has. You haven't seen her in a while.
Martinez.
Yeah.
No.
She Mia Yim.
No, she left that night. Like during the at the end after he lost to Riddle, he started blaming everybody about the loss of that. She walked out. I think it was Slapjack, the one with like the hockey mask. He walked out too, and then Mason T-Bar gave him a double
choke slam.
Double choke slam, and so that's pretty much like I guess we're going to see the end of Retribution right there. And
no, I don't think we're going to see the end of them. I see it this way: Ali's going to go one way.
I think
some are going to go to him, and some are going to stay with the other two guys.
I think what they need to do is just have them unmasked and start working as themselves. But other than that, the match was great. The thing, what I liked was Riddle selling of his neck, because he sold it like crazy. The one thing that I did not like is when Riddle no-selled his back when he did the top rope finisher. That there, because he should have been struggling when you, because through the whole match, and you're gonna lift the guy up there on while you're on the top rope, but you're sitting with the second rope, top rope. It just makes me like, okay, are they gonna do the whole the adrenaline flowing through this guy? He doesn't feel the pain now. That type of thing. But other than that, like I said, it was a solid match, I believe. Any input on that? Then?
I didn't watch that match, to be honest.
Oh, you did.
So here's my thing. I
don't.
put the pay-per-view on, and I watched it last night. I know I'm a week late to watch it, but I work like crazy amount of hours 2 weeks in a row, so like it's hard for me to watch everything. I actually watched my pay-per-view last night. I knew the outcomes already. I like before it even happened. I just feel, in my personal opinion, because I watched glimpse of it. They gave the match a little too early. I think it should have been later a little bit on the main show, in my personal opinion, because you're building Matt Riddle up to be big. You're building Ali up to leave his group and stuff. And yes, sometimes you got to be the first match of an entire show. And that includes pre-show. So they gave those two guys the green light to do whatever. I just don't think they should have had the ending with Ali and his group right there. They should have slowly, in my opinion, have it happen instead of like,
have like one member and then another member.
Like you can see the frustration build and build and build, and then say at Mania, because now Mania is too nice. Okay, you could have had it happen at Mania to where Ali is getting another shot at Riddle. Ali's about to win, and his group's like "F you," and they walk away.
And they leave them during the match and not after the match.
Some people might not like that idea, but I'm a story person. I like stories. I don't want everything right away. It's like when you go to a birthday party, do you want the cake as soon as you get there, or do you want to wait for the party? Because by the time the cake comes out for the birthday party, it's the best part about it. Alcohol's there, but cake's great. I'm a fluffy guy. I like sweets. I'm gonna say it. I like my sugar. You guys brought donuts here, yes. And I immediately ran right when I heard the box open.
My thing is, I don't know. I've never taken to the Riddle character. I just don't know. I mean, I know he's got the UFC background, but to me, I kind of look at him and he's a generic version of Rob Van Dam. That's how I see him. But maybe that might be his personality too. Like he's legitimately like that. Like
he really is.
Yeah, he was like that with the Indies.
He's never like
maybe I should.
This comes from guys that I know from the Monster Factory that trained with him. He is so laid back and nonchalant. It's what makes him so friendly to hang out with. Like he's not stressed out. He's not coming to you with all this problem. He just wants to wrestle and have fun and enjoy life.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be. Is just enjoy it while you're on the ride.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like I said, I know people over there too. I know me and Cage go back a long time, and I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's because I don't know him personally. I just see like what was presented, and to me, like I said, I looked at it, and my son's the biggest RVD mark in the world. Loves the guy to this day. That's his favorite guy, and we were sitting down and we were watching him, and I was like, dude, he's like, RVD 2.0. And my son was like, yeah, minus the wrestling talent. And he was like, and he goes, and I'm not taking nothing away from Riddle. He goes, he can wrestle. He goes, but he's nowhere near. He goes, and then my son actually kind of explained it like you guys, like, he's like that Zen type person. Yeah. He said they have the same type mentality.
He's very mellow, dude. And I think
that kind of turns up like me being when I want to be entertained, like I don't want to see some mellow dude. Like what's a mellow dude going to do with a fight? Like Matt Riddle looks like a type of dude that would smoke a bowl, get a cheesesteak, and go to bed.
I was just about to say
I'm not gonna agree or disagree with that comment. I'm just gonna say it's Philly. It's a Philly thing.
Yeah, and then they were getting ready to kick off the main show, which was really interesting because they started off with the women's tag team titles of Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks taking on the champs Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Does anyone want to kick off with this match here?
Nia Jax is still. This is how long it's been since I watched WWE. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a horrible host. I kind of got thrown into this morning.
No, it's all right.
I don't watch it.
I actually liked how they put that as the first match of the night because you're giving the women the first match. Like, let's be real.
Okay.
What's the three most important matches of a show? The first, the match before intermission, and the main event.
Exactly.
In my opinion, there's 4 main matches, but no one listens to me about
do
that
they
one.
do intermissions anymore?
No,
Well,
no.
no,
They
they don't.
Going off of what you said that you were surprised about Nia Jax still working there. What's everyone's thoughts on Nia now compared to when she started?
I'm not gonna answer that one. Unfortunately, I like my not answering it.
Why?
It's just
Do you know her personally?
no, it's nothing personal. It's just if I want to work for the company, I can't say bad things.
Well, it's not about saying
Yeah,
bad
no,
things.
no,
It's she had a reputation of hurting people.
I was just about to say
She
that.
does,
You know,
But
Yeah,
recently, if you watch her stuff a lot, though, you notice that she has improved a lot. She tends to be a lot more safer now than before.
no, she does.
So
she's not. And it's not because it's because she's in a tag team. It's not. She's not in singles anymore. They put her in a tag team. In my opinion, to get away from that.
I don't think. Honestly, I don't think, regardless of being a tag team or not, has anything to do with her being a safe worker or not. Though it was just that some of the stuff that she was doing. Yes, we understand. Yet she is bigger than the other girls.
well, that's an issue too. I mean, listen, Nia Jax is a big girl.
She can throw people around and manhandle them.
Right, but you can't be sticking her in a ring. If you do, it's got to be psychology wise. You got to make it psychology work. Like they're so hell bent on getting the pretty face and the pretty body over up there, and it's the truth. It's been that way for a long time. Pretty face, nice rack, nice bottom. They want to get them over, and like I'm sorry, the way that they built her coming in was great. She looked like a killer coming in. And that's how I would have continued. I would have had her, like, to be honest with you, they should have kept Awesome Kong there at the same time. But
I was just thinking that you're on the same one.
Bro, what better match you could have at WrestleMania than Awesome Kong against Carmen, which was her name up there, against Nia Jax? Bro, that would sell.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give Nia Jax credit where credit's due. The girl can move for a big woman. Okay, 100%. She does not care about her weight. She will dress. She's going to go out there and wear whatever she wants, and I give her that. I have a lot of respect for her personally because she has to overcome all the negative. She has hurt some people in the ring
because there are nasty people out there though with the negative that will talk trash.
Yeah. Is it always her first fault? Someone gets hurt? No.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
so I can't fault her for that.
Right,
the only thing I can fault is the one when you heard someone say, "I'm not ready," and you throw them into a buckle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But then again, like I said too, you also don't know
the situation.
We've all been in matches where
you can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing. And it happens. I mean,
especially if you're wearing a mask too.
Exactly.
You're covering.
And that's why, like, personally wise, I think she's a great human being. I think she's overcoming every obstacle and every stereotype about a big woman and a woman.
One thing that shows that confidence about her a lot, and it's not on screen for the WWE, it's behind the scenes when you see her videos like on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, they're phenomenal. I'm like, I love those things.
Yeah. I mean, she's overcome a lot, but I just I think sometimes I think something's put on a person that's a little unfair, and that was my point that I was getting at with you with her hurting people. What I'm saying to you is, like, I feel like the people that she was in the ring with at the time weren't up to her level.
I can understand that.
And
I can understand
when you're not up to somebody's level, you're going to make a mistake. That person who's not up to that level is going to make a mistake. We've all taken bad bumps.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah. We've all been hurt by people or hurt by ourselves. The one thing that you were saying is how she's gotten better. I will stand by it. I think it's because it's a tag team thing, but it also because of who her tag team partner is.
Yeah, I love Shayna. She's a great worker.
In my opinion, transforming from MMA to professional wrestling. Now, it's been done. Ronda did it.
I have to say Shayna's a lot better than Ronda.
No, that's what I'm going with. I think Shayna, out of all of them that have come over from the MMA world, is the best one of them all.
She probably respects it a lot more.
I don't think it's more of that. I think she understands the seriousness of it.
She does, but what I'm saying is, when Rousey came in, Rousey was nothing more than a name. Okay? She didn't care about our business. And just look at all the derogatory remarks she made about her business when she left about fake fighting.
Well, I think there was more to. I don't think it was her really taking shots. I think it was there. She was supposed to come back and then decided that what I mean. There's something to it. So, but yeah, So that was the match.
Yeah, I think we got to fast forward through this this whole card because our time is limited here on the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, the tag team women's match, it was on point. It was misleading for me though with Bianca and Sasha coming out wearing the same ring attire. So obviously people are instantly going to think, hey, they're going over for the belts, but they didn't. They had their little squabble at the end, and the slap to Bianca. The look on her face was priceless. As soon as that smack happened, I was like, "Holy, that's a legit reaction. That's not a gimmick reaction. That was so legit." I think they're gonna have a great match at Mania between Sasha and Bianca.
They can steal the show.
I was just about to say that.
They can steal
I
the
honestly
show.
think there's 3 matches on Mania that I think are going to steal the night. That is one of them. 100%. I think the other match that's going to steal Mania, it's going to be Apollo versus Big E. Okay. They are building that match because did you watch that match between Big? Okay, so let me just say it this way. Apollo finally went back to his original roots from the Indies, and I'm in heaven with this idea. Like Vince has let him run with the
Yuha Nation.
Yeah, like his accent's real. It's not a work. It's nothing he learned. That's really him, and I'm loving it because he's being himself.
They should put him over.
Oh, 100% is going to happen in Mania.
One.
It's happening in Mania.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't happen in Mania, I'm going to be very shocked that it doesn't happen in Mania.
The only thing I ever tuned in for the last few years for Mania was to see Taker. And now that he's not going to be there this year, it's like, why?
Is there ever going to be another Taker?
But at the same time, I'm okay with him not being there anymore.
You know who I will probably tune in to see? And that is Damian Priest.
I was thinking that.
And that's only because we've all worked shows with him. When he was Punisher Martinez.
Here's the other match that's going to steal the night, and you're going to be shocked when I say this.
Who?
It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. It's not confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm saying this is going to be – no one knows that Daniel Bryan's going to be in it. None of us do. But this is why you put him in it. You want Roman Reigns to really, truly be the most hated person in professional wrestling? You have him take out 2 of the biggest name fan favorites in professional wrestling on the biggest stage of the year.
I got a dark match for you that could steal the show that I was catching up on it on Twitter to see what was on the card, but I just saw they signed Kevin Owens and Sammy, and they can go.
Yeah, I saw that too. We already know that. That one is 100%.
But we know that, right? We know that, and we've seen it a million times.
But it'll get better and better every time.
Exactly.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been doing this for ever.
Yeah, since
15 plus years.
Even before that.
Yeah.
And when you have magic like that with those 2 guys, they can easily steal the show. You put them on as the first match of the night, and everybody has to live up to that standard.
Like I'm seeing people on the internet be upset that it's a 2-night event, but if you think about it, it's a
smart.
Raw and a SmackDown. It's what you break it down to.
So WrestleMania's 2 nights?
So WrestleMania is Saturday and Sunday. It's the 10th and the 11th.
Okay.
Here's why I love this idea. And I think if they keep going forward with it, it's not a money thing. Well, it is, but it's not. You have all this talent on your product, right? On all your shows, on NXT. Now you have 2 nights.
Now
all
everything.
your guys can get the moment of WrestleMania. And yeah,
NXT TakeOver's doing a 2-night event too as well. So
that has to have. NXT has so much young talent down there. 1 night is not enough for those guys. I'm sorry.
All right, Dennis, you already jumped into the Biggie Apollo Crews match, so that there we already transcended, so we can skip over that one there. The next following match it was Elias against Braun Strowman, which it was solid, it was quick. I have no complaints whatsoever. It is what it is. Braun obviously going over. I'm looking at Mania now. Mania is scheduled for Braun against Shane, which I think that might turn into a handicap match. I think eventually. I think it might be Elias with the Jackson Riker and Shane taking on Braun by himself, 3-on-1. What do you think?
I don't know. It's going to be one of those, like, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a 1-on-1 because Braun's going to want just Shane. The fans want to see Shane get ripped apart.
Well,
okay, that's the way they're building it up. Shane has been doing everything he's originally done to everybody else.
See, but here's the thing though, with them wanting to see Braun tear him apart, it's better to have Elias and Jackson Records out there to help Shane, because then Shane can actually then pull off the crazy stuff that he does in like the past matches he had, because he never really faced anyone as big as Braun though in the past.
Who?
Shane.
Yes, he has. You're saying Taker isn't as big as Braun?
I'm talking.
No one is as big as Taker. Like,
well, I know.
You can beat Braun
I'm talking about.
I'm talking
about beast-wise size. I'm talking about size. You know,
they're the same size.
They're just. In my opinion, they're the same. Like, yes,
I thought Braun was a lot bigger.
No.
Braun's
bigger. Yeah,
like, Braun's a bigger dude.
He's not bigger
body-wise.
He's
but
more.
If you really put it down to it, the hardest guy in the professional wrestling business to have a match with, in my opinion, will always be Taker, because you have to live up to that
his standards. Yeah.
And if you go out there, and Taker's made it pretty clear on his things, like his most hated matches, him versus Goldberg, him and Kane versus DX, because they were bad.
Yeah.
And he owned up to them. Like,
I'll tell you
when you face Taker, you have it in your mind that if I shit the bed, I'm going to be the joke on the internet right now.
Yep.
So when you're Braun and you're Shane, everybody's expecting Shane to do a high flying move off something crazy.
Yeah,
we all
Shane's going
expect
to take a big bump.
We all expect it.
We're getting cued at the show.
We're running out of time.
Yeah,
y'all.
we actually ran out of time in the beginning, and we didn't even get through half this. But
that's what we got next week, fellas.
We apologize. You know,
I'll come back next week too.
We apologize for all that. You know, we got.
You know what happens, Dave? When we all get together, time just
we start telling
we
start telling our own personal stories, and it takes away what we really want to talk about. One final note: who is your match for Mania?
The main event. I'll just go with the main event.
Me too.
I'm definitely looking at Miz and Bad Bunny, because literally I just want to see Miz tear Bad Bunny to pieces. That's all.
Look, I got two matches. Ready?
He's
Cesaro. Well. It's Cesaro and Seth Rollins.
That's going to be good.
Okay. And Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. In my opinion, my favorite two matches of the entire weekend.
There you go. All right, guys, it's been a great time. I want to thank Dennis Reaper, Dave Chio Frost, Marty, Eric, and myself. I'm Mike Lauro, aka Slayer. This has been BodySlams for breakfast. Devereaux Sports coming up next. What's the music?
Oh my God. We didn't get my iPod up like this.
We didn't.